We've talked of different aspects of civil engineering. Let's spend a little bit of time diving into each of them. Let's take IIT Madras. How many different divisions of civil engineering do we have? What do they do? And let's talk to each one of them.
Yeah. So not just IIT Madras, generally across the country.
Sure.
Today, as we can see, there are about 7 verticals in civil engineering. You can start from the bottom, and that will be geology. Geology is the base of all of civil engineering. What is the underlying layer of the earth on which we are going to build? Is the first question. You need to know that.
So a group of people make it their life to understand that.
Understand the geology.
Okay.
And in case there's an earthquake, how much does it shake? And then what will be the effect of that? All that is also geology is part of civil engineering. Second part, you're coming slightly up, is geotechnical, the top layer of the soil, which is like 30, 40, 50 meters, on which you will build bridges and all the industrial structures and tall buildings, whatever, houses and so on. We need to know geotechnical, what happens to the soil when I put something on top of it. Soil is of different types, sand, clay and silt. How do different types of soils behave is the part of the study there. How they behave, and if I put a structure in it, how will the structure see the effect of this flexibility. Second part. Third part is water. How much water is available, water resource, how water travels, hydraulics, and where we can store them in dams or tanks or reservoirs is the next part.
Sure.
Then comes the structure being built on top of that, structural engineering, which is now gotten into 2 parts, which is construction engineering, and the design part of it is called the structural engineering part. And then there is transportation engineering, which is about railways, roadways, seaways, and then airways. 4 of these transportation modes. As you can see in the yesteryears, it was largely train in India.
Right.
Except some states like Karnataka and Maharashtra, which are good, and maybe Tamil Nadu, good road networks. But then roads improved. So rail and roads. Then now air has improved.
Absolutely.
And you can see around the corner the sea will also improve. This is the so-called the necklace project of India, in which all the seaports will be developed. 7,000 kilometers of coastline. So we should be able to do some travel on the sea also.
Sure. And then above all this is the air.
Then we are coming to the environment.
Right.
So we have disturbed the land, we have disturbed the water, and we also created all the cars and emissions through industries and everything. And so now comes the last segment, which is environment. But what is more interesting, there's one subject which has come out, which is the first subject, which was called surveying, where we would stand on ground and measure distances, heights and angles and so on of the topography of the earth. Now that has been replaced with what is called remote sensing. Through satellites, we use satellite technology to decide what are the ups and downs in the topography of the earth. Because when we construct, we have to cut the earth and make structures. How much do we cut and so on? Or I have to put a railway line, then what is the slope at which I can go? I can't go very steep in railways. So I have to find contours which will give me a gentle slope to climb the mountain and then get off the mountain. Now, in the case of remote sensing, what has happened is the satellites are not giving us very high resolution, or if they are giving us, this is only for military applications. For civil applications, resolution is not good. So the recent development of drones has brought us to centimeter accuracy. So we now run drones to do surveying and get maps prepared and use those maps for construction. So it's not that civil engineering is still striking 2 stones to get fire. It's not just brick over brick and the brick layer alone. But now we are into state-of-the-art use of devices, technologies as a mainstream everyday work.